Hello, everybody. This is Seth Keeping It Real. This is another episode of Stump Seth with Emily. So I want you guys to be thinking now about the questions that you have. I want you to write them down. We're going to answer them the most effectively we can. We are going to answer any question we can. And my hope is that by the end of this event, you guys get a ton of value and you are able to walk away with a ton of help. And we've really worked hard on the audio stuff and the internet stuff. We are in a temporary office space. Once we have our own, it's going to be insane. But give us feedback. Let us know if you can hear us okay or not. All right. So welcome, everybody. Good to see you, Charles, my friend here in Austin. Good to see you, brother. How are you today, Emily? How's your day going so far?
It's going really well. Busy preparing for e-com and running my store and all of that. So good to be here with everybody.
One thing that never changes as an entrepreneur is life is never dull. I just went on a walk with my business partner, Josiah, right before this. And I was sitting here thinking, I'm going to have to lock myself in a room to focus intensively on our Amazon brains, the 3 new ones we just started, and all the content we're bringing out of that for the next 3 weeks. And it's hard, but I love it, you guys. And that's what's cool. When you're an entrepreneur, you get to do what you love. You're going to run into challenges every day. But guys, it is so rewarding if you continue. Now, if everyone could just tell me here on YouTube, here on Instagram, can you hear me okay? How's the audio? Just give us feedback when you have a second. What we're going to do, guys, is we're going to start off talking about, you ready for it? Provisional patents. Now, Emily, I have a question for you. If I am an Amazon seller and I want to, and I just opened a new store, and I want to patent my new set of headphones because I have something in the design of these or in the utility, the function of them, that is really, really, really different. What do I need to do? What are the first steps I'm going to take? And does a provisional patent actually help me? Does it hurt me? Can you talk about that? Because patents, they're expensive and they take time.
Absolutely. So I personally think that provisional patents are underutilized. They're a very low cost way to basically place a bookmark in the USPTO system and say, this is my technology. These are the claims that I'm making about the technology. And nobody at the USPTO is going to review the application that you submit. But it just later, when you go to file the full patent for your technology, will act as a bookmark and you will reference that date in time. And the US, as well as the rest of the world, recognize first to file. So that date that you bookmark that technology is extremely important. And you have 12 months to file your full patent after that. You can additionally file multiple provisional patents within that year if things come up along the way that you realize that you need to add to differentiate or you need to remove. You can actually add to that as well. But the great thing is that full patents cost somewhere between, let's say, $15,000 and $35,000. This can cost you $130 to file. So you can do it without the help of a lawyer. That's a matter of opinion, whether you need that or not. And if you ever want to start a fight at a party with patent lawyers, discuss whether you should include claims, because that's kind of a big debate. In my opinion, and I'm not a lawyer and I don't play one on TV or anything like that, just take this as business advice and not legal advice. My opinion is you want that provisional patent to be as comprehensive as possible. It should have claims, it should have drawings, it should have everything that you know at that time. Like I said, you can always add to it, but don't exclude anything that you know. And then use that 12-month period to either yourself or use your lawyer to look for all the prior art that can exist related to your technology. And this is really important because, for example, you might find that someone's filed a patent similar to yours, but there's so many people who file patents that don't know how to actually make what they've thought up. And so if you can figure out how to make it, or you can make it in a new and exciting way, or anything like that that you can add to the process, you might be able to get a full patent on something that's even existing in the marketplace already. So I would highly, highly recommend the minute that you have the idea and it's fully fleshed out as a concept, file with the USPTO. If you need help filing, get a lawyer to do it. It shouldn't be that expensive. It shouldn't be so time consuming for them that it costs you thousands of dollars, but you literally can do it yourself. Just look up how to do it, what to include, and you'll be good to go.
a little bit about claims or saying, hey, this is patent pending. Can you do that with a provisional patent? Because I know, Emily, when I'm researching products to sell on Amazon, we just actually ran into this just a couple days ago, a product comes up and it says patent pending on it. Now, I know that means they didn't get a patent yet, but they're in the process if it's a pending status. Is that the same thing, or is it different with a provisional patent? Could you elaborate on that a little bit?
Sure, you actually do get that right for that 12 months from the date that you file all the way to the 12 months until that provisional will expire. You're given the right to use patent pending. And this is great because when you file a provisional, like I said, it's not reviewed by any patent clerk or lawyer or anything like that. So basically you're filing this secret. So nobody can go onto upsto.gov and say, you know, I need to find out what they filed or what have they claimed at this point. It's a secret between you and basically the government at that point. And so this is a great thing. You can put it on your insert, your product, anything you want, and it kind of acts as a barrier to people looking to copy you because they don't quite know what you mean at that point.
What if they go on to uspto.gov and they search? Are they going to find it?
They will not be able to find it as a provisional, no. Nope.
So because it's the secret between me and the government, so no one else can find it. Okay.
Yep.
So this really scares a lot of people from trying to copy you guys. There was a time when I was looking at the corner rug. What it does is it helps rugs not to curl up on the edge. And I got very close to launching this product. What I discovered is there was a patent that was on this product, and it's this little plastic right angle piece that goes under the rug. So if this is the corner of the rug, it goes underneath it, because rugs tend to curl up and then people trip and that's a falling hazard. I discovered that there was a patent on it. Now this one wasn't a patent pending, it was approved, but still, even if it had been a patent pending, why would I spend $1, $2, $3, $4 grand launching a new product, getting it going, trying to sell it, and then later discover, oh, their patent got approved and now I can't do it. So it really does discourage people. Now, let me ask you this, Emily. How familiar are you with extending that out? You talked about refiling or reapplying. Could you elaborate that a little more? Because there is a strategy I'm aware of, and I just want to know, in your experience with patents, what is your knowledge on that?
Sure. So like I said, you can add to that original provisional patent within that year. There's different strategies on how to do that, but from my understanding, every new claim that you add to that provisional patent, that is the bookmark date for that claim. So the original date is the provisional that you first filed, but it's not like claim 5 that you discovered 6 months down the road necessarily gets latched onto that first date. That's something that I would recommend talking to a lawyer about because there's a lot of strategy between how to roll that all up into one filing. But you can also extend the provisional. So let's say you get to month 11 and you say, hey, I'm not ready to file a full patent yet. We don't have enough information or whatever. You can refile and adjust things slightly with what you do know. But again, that resets the date of that filing. So if somebody had filed in between, like for example, the first date is nullified at that point. And if someone beats you to the market, if there's any gap between the first date and the second date of filing, they may be able to get in between and claim right to your technology.
And guys, this is a strategy that works. I know a patent lawyer, we've spoken, and this guy actually has shared this strategy with me, and it's very effective. People will continue to renew or extend that date so that that patent pending stays on there for longer. So it's actually a strategy. So look at it this way. Apart from the lawyer fees you will pay, apart from the filing $130 fee that Emily paid, your costs are pretty minimal. And it's a way to stave off competition, even if you never got the patent approved. At least you had a year out of protection where it was extremely hard for someone to compete with you. And Amazon respects that a lot. So guys, I hope this is super helpful to you. We have some patent questions. I will share with you what I know and no more, and Emily will do the same. And that is our promise to you guys. All right. So I'm going to scroll back down to the bottom. We're going to start taking questions. Really glad it is loud and clear, guys. That is awesome. We worked hard on this and we practiced, and thank you for being patient with us as we did this. Okay. And again, guys, please write down questions. We'll get to as many as we can. I want to challenge you to stump me And if you can stump me, then I'm just going to pass it on to Emily, and she's going to take care of it for you. No problem. All right. By the way, let me just remind you guys, Emily is a just-when-I'm student. She's crushing it on Amazon. She works a graveyard shift. She's still making money on Amazon. She's grown that. She has 43% profit margins. She's doing this off of one product, and she is growing her store week in and week out, and she's going through the rigors and the struggles of figuring out PPC and all of that, and it is awesome. And so she's generating cash for her and her family, which is awesome, and allows her to have this level of freedom, and she's going to continue to build that. So one of my goals was to bring in someone so you can kind of walk with them and see their growth and change, and they can answer questions as they go to sort of give you a realistic picture. In fact, really quick, before we get to questions, Emily, can you just talk a little bit, like just, you know, for a minute, especially to the women, what is it like for you as a mom, as a wife, doing this? How has it been? And what is it doing for you today?
So it is really hard to be in this season of life and feel like you're doing well at anything you're doing. Every time I'm with my daughter, I feel like I need to be working on my store. And anytime I'm working on my store, vice versa. And so it's really challenging to be mentally focused. And I've found that what I really need to do to be successful at selling on Amazon is set aside chunks of time where I can just be head down, focused on whether it's learning new things or paying attention to things that I need to fix within my business. And it's easy to make mistakes when you're pulled in 100 different directions. And whether you're a mom or not, this can be true, obviously, of anybody who's just juggling a lot. But I'm definitely sleep deprived. I've got a little one to care for, managing a lot of stuff. And it's just a tough season of life. But right from the beginning, I said, this is something that I feel like I was, made to do. And this is something they always say, like, don't pour from an empty cup. This is, for me, what can fill that cup up so that I can be happier because I'm getting to do what I was designed to do. So I would encourage anyone out there, put excuses aside. I've got a laundry list of things I could say, oh, I can't do this because of X, Y, and Z. But if you want this, it's very doable.
And what are you making per month on Amazon? What's your revenue? And what is your gross profit margin, Emily?
Yep. So right now, like I mentioned last week, I'm doing a lot of adjusting with my store. So my sales have gone down a lot. PPC has been eating up a lot of my margin. So I'm at a 43% margin, but I've been playing around with PPC for the last month. So from last month, January to now, I've made about 13,000 at 43%. And I'm trying to get PPC to be even more efficient than it is with keyword bidding and all that. So a little bit down from November, December timeframe, but hoping that February, March will be right back up.
So 0.43 times 13,000 is $5,590 profit. So I just want you guys to encourage you guys to take a moment. If you've just started Amazon or you're not at this point yet, what would you be willing to do to make an extra $5,590 per month? Now, Emily is wise. She's not taking that and going out and buying nice things in New York or, going to get extra pair of shoes. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, I get that. My wife loves to shop. I hate shopping. She's taking that. She's putting it right back business wise. Like, that is smart. That's how you grow your income so that your business starts to work for you instead of you working for it. But it's something we've always promised to do, and we continue, guys, is we will not try to give you a flavored, rosy picture of what it's like to be an entrepreneur. It is hard, it is tiring, and it is so freaking fulfilling. I would never change to do anything. Some people, they ask me, Emily, why do you have energy so much? Yesterday, I got up at 4:45 a.m. At 6:45 p.m., so that, what is that, like 12 hours, 13, 14 hours later? Did I do that right? Yeah, I think I did that right. 14 hours later, I feel like I could run up a hill, and I already worked out earlier. And I'm like, we're in there, we're planning, we're talking, we're strategizing. Then I took my family to dinner. We had an awesome time. Guys, it's life. It's real. I think one of the reasons, Emily, my energy is high is because I love what I do. I did not have this level of energy back when I worked at Apple. So again, I want to encourage you guys, do not be shy about pursuing your dreams. Get rigorous, get tough, stand in front of the mirror. By the way, for any of you guys out there who complain, who are negative, who whine, I'm writing a rap song for you. I'm serious. I'm writing a rap song for you. So next time someone whines or complains, I'm just going to break into a rap just for you. And it's going to challenge you to go stand in front of the mirror and say, I am the only person who can get between me and success. I will do what it takes. I have what it takes. Now let's go do something. If you have enough energy to focus on what other people are doing well and criticize it, take that energy, you guys, and focus it on your freaking self and watch yourself make money. Would you rather someone who criticizes people who are rich or be rich? Simple question. Up to you guys to answer. Okay, here we go. Let's take some questions. All right. Good to see you guys. All right. Ramesh, how are you doing, my friend? He says, are there any tips to do high rank without campaign? Can I rank my product? What he means is if I search, if this is what you're selling, and you search Bluetooth headphones, how can I get my product to show up soon and backpack bags? All right, so I'm going to start this. Emily, feel free to jump in. The answer is yes, you absolutely can. When you begin, you can use lightning deals and you can go to Amazon's promotional center from your Seller Central account, and you can add, if this product has, if the listing has no reviews on it at the beginning, you can add it to Amazon's promotion page where where it encourages you to get reviews, and you run a deal. You run some kind of discount or 2-for-1. It's a special deals page unique to Amazon only. You'll see it if you're in Seller Central and you go to promotions, you'll see it in the drop-down menu. It allows you to launch quickly, and people go to this page for deals. You can run a Facebook ad that points people to that. We have all this training in our courses. And then it allows you to generate a lot of sales. Now, here's the trick, you guys. It's great to rank only if your product is sticky. What I mean is, once you get on that page of search results, you don't want it dropping down. How do you keep it from dropping down? You keep it from being what? Sticky. How do you make it sticky? It has to convert well. It has to be a product that when 100 people go and land on that product, the chances of them buying it is very, very high. That means it's sticky, it converts well, and it'll cause it, the conversion will cause it to continue to rank. This is the danger of doing just straight out giveaways. Viral Launch used to be built on this premise. They wisely have pulled away from this. Now they're focusing more on their software for this reason. If you rank a product and the conversion rate sucks, if it doesn't convert well, you might get it on the first page for a while, but you have to make sure it converts well. And the best way to make sure it converts well is you optimize your listing. But here's the question, Ramesh. How will you optimize the listing if you don't previously know what causes it to convert? And how are you going to know what caused it to convert if you don't run a PPC ad campaign? So if you're trying to avoid PPC ad campaign, in most cases, you're going to spend more money trying to get it ranked and guessing at conversion versus running PPC ads, which will give you the keywords people are clicking the most. So for example, if they keep clicking on black Bluetooth headphones with a beveled edge, then I need to make sure the main picture shows that beveled edge in the main picture. In other words, my picture needs to match what they're clicking. Emily, anything you want to add to that?
I think PPC gets a bad rap because a lot of campaigns can be run super inefficiently. But I found with my product, which is in the kitchen and homeware section of Amazon, that giveaways and first review programs and all these things don't work as well as just being on the first page organically and through PPC for the keywords that are the most relevant. So I would say PPC can be your best friend. You just need to understand how to make it super efficient and, like Seth said, get the conversion rate right. And then you'll actually spend, in my opinion, a lot less than you will on these other methods.
Let's keep going, guys, and going down to the next question. Seth, I have a 3D file for an item, but it's not in a format that any Chinese manufacturer can work with. File conversion not an option. Would you ever send a prototype over to China for an estimate? So I'm assuming that your 3D file is the prototype itself. I would only send it if you know you're working with a Chinese factory that is not selling on Amazon, and preferably, not always, on Alibaba. Let me explain how to do that. So when you talk directly to the supplier, you need to ask them point blank. I shared this with you guys yesterday on Instagram. Are you selling on Amazon? Are you a trading company? I'm still going to find out. I'm going to send someone to do a factory inspection. We're going to do the whole thing. I'm still going to find out. So I just need you to be upfront with me now. Are you? Most of the time, they're going to be honest with you, because if they sense that what you're saying is true, that you are going to send someone to inspect them, whether or not you do, it's very dangerous for them to lie to you. They realize that could break off the business relationship. So the first thing I would do is simply just ask. Second, once you have your prototype created, it is necessary that whoever does produce that product has to have the prototype. They need to see it. If you want them to build it right, then you need to have them, they need to have it in their hands so they can build it to spec. That is the fastest, easiest way to do it. So I'm never afraid to send a prototype over to China once I vetted that Chinese supplier. Now, there's one more thing you guys can do. You can actually hire a sourcing agent, ask them to go visit the factory, talk to them, and start building a relationship to find out more information. It's really hard for them to hide behind that if they do sell on Amazon. Is there anything you would add to that, Emily, at all?
Yeah, just one other strategy that might be helpful is a lot of times in the US, there's companies that um, they don't manufacture products for their clients necessarily, or they do some things in-house, but a lot of it they source in China. So for example, with my product, I was talking to a company who said, hey, we can get the mold for you in China and your product will be made in China, but we will manage them. And essentially, it's like it's in-house, even though it's in another country. And in that case, these Chinese manufacturers have zero incentive to do anything that would steal the technology or do anything, because it would basically disrupt their whole relationship with this major supplier of business for them. And so there may be kind of ways to just ensure your safety a little bit more so that things don't get made, kind of underground or behind the scenes that are copying your product.
Another question that comes up, I'll give this one straight to you, Emily. Brandon says, how many keywords should be in a listing? What would your response be to that?
Within the listing, you would want to make your title as readable as possible. And if you can fit the 5 to 7 power keywords in there and still make it make sense, I would say do that. If you can't, then they should be in the bullet points. And basically you need to make sure that the computer, the robot, the algorithm can read it, and so can your customers. So don't title stuff, but put as many keywords in as possible. And that includes in the product description below. And then anything you don't fit on the front end, put in the back end.
And guys, keep in mind too that Amazon will tell you your limit. There's a little information button inside Seller Central, and it'll tell you what your limit is. Now, this has been a big issue lately for a lot of sellers, because for those of you guys who have listings that have lasted for a while, like I do, as well as new listings like I have, when you go in there, the older ones tend to get this like grandfathered in. In other words, even though Amazon's starting to limit the number of character spaces you have in your title down to 80, a lot of them are still allowing for 200 and sometimes 250 and even more because of the past. So if you create a new listing, you're like, man, how come my listing got suppressed immediately after I put in the title, even though my competitors in the same product category are using 200 to 250 character spaces? It's because it's a new listing. And I know some people see that as a negative. I see it as a positive. It makes total sense to me. Let me explain why. If I go to Amazon and I'm searching, let's use this as an example again, Bluetooth headphones, and this pops up, but not just one, and not just 10, but 500 results. It's frustrating for me as a customer to have 500 choices to pick from. It's like being at a restaurant, you take out the menu and you're like, man, there's like 500 choices here. You're spending more calories trying to figure out what to pick than you are actually eating the food. So when you have too many options to pick from, it actually reduces conversion and it also decreases customer satisfaction. What Amazon wants is fewer results that are very targeted. So for example, they're going to favor the listings that have long tail keywords in a product that's built uniquely that complements that keyword. So let's just say, for example, you're looking at a black leather ear muff Bluetooth headphones. Now that I know that is as long as a train, long tail keyword. I get that. But the cool thing is, if you are one of only 3 other sellers doing it, or maybe the only one with all those specifics, guess who's going to come up at the top? You. Guess who's going to convert really well when they search it? You. So your challenge is you have to make sure that long tail keyword is being searched enough, it's generating enough income to make it worth it to launch in that differentiation sub-niche. So you don't want tons of keywords in the title, because guess what? If you have too many keywords in your title, guess what's happening? You're competing with a lot of other sellers, which decreases your conversion, which increases your PPC. That's why some people go, man, I noticed this guy over here or this lady there, they have this listing and that title is shorter than it needs to be. Guess what? They're saving money on PPC. They don't want to rank for the less relevant keywords. So Amazon is moving more and more and more to fewer words stuffed into there and more long tail specific, narrowed, nerdy niche keywords for the listing. And the same, that's why in the old days you could put in a ridiculous, I forget what it was. It was insane, Emily. I don't know if you were selling back then, but there was a day where you had you had on the back end for the extra keywords, you could put in literally thousands of character spaces, and they squished that down and they narrowed it down because they don't want you keyword stuffing anymore, because that increases customer experience level. Okay, next question is, Emily, I'll give this one to you. When should you register for patent protection?
So like I said at the beginning of the video, the minute that you have a concrete differentiated idea, I would file a provisional patent right away. You really want to make your stake in the sand at the moment that you have that idea. The minute that it touches the patent office, they will recognize that date as your filing date. And you can always adjust the idea over the 12-month period that you have. But it is great to say, I had this idea, I've explained it thoroughly, I've included my drawings, so that there's no confusion down the line if somebody says, hey, I did the same thing. First to file gets the priority. So as soon as possible. And then it can really, I mean, a lot of provisional patents are abandoned because the person figures out, hey, this isn't a great idea. There's blocking IP over here and so on and so forth. And so you can only spend $130 and kind of figure out over that year period, is it worth it for me to go forward? So I'd say right away.
Great answer. And the nice thing about that, guys, is by doing it right away, protecting your brain right away. And yes, to answer Kevin's question, you said it correctly. It's yespto.gov. That gives you protection for your trademark or your patent within the United States. So patents and trademarks are unique to the country or region the country they're in. For example, as a patent in Europe, guess what I'm doing? I'm in the patent in the US. They have fast on that. You see what I mean? So that's another opportunity. You could find a patented product and launch it in a different country and get a patent there, which protects you. And if the other country's already validated the sales, especially if it's in Europe where sales are not as high as they are in the US, that gives you a massive advantage, you guys, for selling it in the US later. Chris says, how different does your product need to be to the rest of the market to be able to top patent it? Great question, Chris. I'm going to give you an answer. Emily, if you have anything to add to this, you may. I'm going to tell you exactly what my patent lawyer told me. If it's anything that is just common sense, it's really hard to get a patent on it. Now, some patent lawyers are more proactive about, yeah, let's get you a provisional patent, and it may or may not work. And maybe they're doing it because they're going to make some money because you're paying them to do that. And that actually does give them temporary protection, even if eventually or utility or plant, we'll talk about that another time, patent approved. But you do, to go back to the question, it needs to be beyond just common sense. It needs to be unique enough, and there needs to be a level of ingenuity that obviously someone took time to really think this through. Now keep in mind, if you get a utility patent, it's harder to get and it costs more. But in the long run, it lasts longer. If you get a design patent, it's easier to do. A lot of people, they go for the utility patent. If that doesn't work, they go down to the design patent. It costs less. It doesn't last as long. It's easier to get it done. And guys, some companies, they'll do 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 patents on a product to protect every possible thing they can to really discourage the competition. That's another route you can go. And typically, if you're working with one lawyer, I'm assuming you are, your fees go down because you're doing multiple and they're doing all this work, so they already know the product. So it actually costs less per patent than if you were doing just one. Emily, anything you want to add to that?
I would just say that if you're differentiating well, you're going to run into the need for a patent. I don't know this to be true. This is just my opinion, my observation, is that most products on the Amazon marketplace are a variation of something that exists already. That would be really hard to protect. Of course, there's novel and non-obvious technology and products being brought to the market all the time. So I'm not saying that that doesn't happen or that's not a need. But for a lot of us, like my product right now, it wasn't common in the marketplace on Amazon, but it was a common capability for manufacturing material, benefits, features, all of that. So there was no IP that I could possibly claim for that. So it's got to be non-obvious and novel, which is definitely doable, but is not the case for the majority of us looking on Alibaba or on other product websites.
All right, great answer. Thank you, Emily. Okay, next question is, I'm currently seeking, Chris, what about larger, heavier products? Is there less competition there? The answer is yes, there is. I was just talking to someone this morning about products selling for $99, making over $30 per sale. That puts you in a great place. Now, when you do a heavier, larger product, as a general rule, it's going to sell fewer times per month. It might sell anywhere from 250 to 300 to 450 times a month versus one that's selling 5,000 or 6,000 times a month. What's interesting is most Amazon sellers start with the ones that sell many times a month. And those products maybe cost them anywhere from $2 to $4 to $11. But they're lower end products, or I should say a product with a lower price tag. That is easier to jump into because your initial costs are less. I get that. But those people who start with a more expensive product, anywhere from $40 to $50 to $60, even up to $100, you can make a lot more money off of those than the lower end products. When I got to $20,000 a month on Amazon, it was off of higher end products. The lower end ones, or the lower price tag ones, they're sort of like money that keeps coming in to support the ones that have a bigger price tag on them. So the other thing to keep in mind, guys, is it depends on the product category. When you're in a product category where people have to do a ton of research before they make a decision, your chances of getting reviews on that product are greater. Now, that's good and bad. If one person doesn't like it and this is after you had 4 sales, then you're going to have a terrible star review rating because of that. However, the nice thing about bigger products is when people do like them, and they do have to do more research, because people usually do more research before spending more money on an item. When they do like them, the review is just glowing because they're so thankful. They spent a lot of money, therefore the gratitude is greater. You know, if I just bought this little bag here, this is a camera accessory bag, what are the chances I'm going to do a review on a $4 bag? But on these $100 headphones, much bigger chance I'm going to go into detail because I spent more money, which means that review is going to very much hurt or help the seller regardless. Emily?
One thing I would just add to that is I saw this training video, not just one time, a different person a couple years ago, and I think it was misleading because he was talking about heavy items, big ticket, big price items, and he never went into the idea of the shipping fees associated. I mean, from China, first of all, then the shipping through Amazon and on and on. And so there's a big consideration for cash flow when you look at big ticket items, heavy and oversized items, all these things, where as a new seller, I would say most people are not in a cash position to start with those. So pay careful attention to what you can afford so that running out of inventory isn't the thing that gets you.
Really good point, Emily, because a lot of people, they're going to focus on just the cost. But a more important question is, what is your margin? So for example, if let's just say, again, you're launching headphones. If the cost of these is $3 per item to ship by sea, that's kind of high even for these. That's actually very high for these. Let's say it's $1 per item to ship by sea, just for example, okay, and that's still high. If you later come back and realize, oh my goodness, it's actually $1.50 or $2, and that causes you not to be able to launch, the problem wasn't the cost of shipping. The problem was the margin. You have to have margin. In other words, if your margin isn't already there, if your margin is there, then these costing anywhere from $1 to $5 a piece to ship won't make a difference. Of course, yeah, you'd rather the shipping cost be lower because that affects your margin. Understand, focus on your margin. Don't focus on, oh, well, that's $5 a ship. That's too much. I can't do that. That's not wise thinking. Think this. It doesn't matter what it costs to ship. Because if people are going to pay enough money to cover that and then a lot more, I'm going to make money. I'm going to get rich. So instead, why don't you focus on this? What is my margin? How do I scale based on that margin? See the difference? As a general rule, I would go at a minimum 40% profit margin. As you know, Emily's at 43%. The majority of my products is between 40 and 60%. And then you have margin to run PPC. You got this room here. So Emily, let's just take Emily as an example. Out of $1, if you subtract $43 out of that, she has, what is that, 37, right? $37. Did I do my math right? 43, 50. No, that's 50. Sorry, 57. That was bad. 57. So she has 50. Sorry, let me go back. She has $43 of margin to mess with. And if she maxes it, then she's going to make that 43. But she can eat some of that up and still make money while she's testing her PPC. So she's optimizing the listing. She's got that margin. But if your margins, let's say, are 20%, you have very little room. And if all of a sudden a keyword cost starts to go up, all of a sudden you're not making money anymore. You're just giving money and taking money. So know that your profit margins are super important, you guys. I want to share a tip with you guys. I think it'll be super helpful. Then we're going to take 2 more questions. We're going to go. This morning, we were doing product research on a product. As you guys know, we're launching 3 new Amazon brands. I've had many people say, oh, well, it's easy for you, Seth, because you started years ago. So all you have to do is keep selling. There is some truth to that complaint. Once you have a product selling well, it takes less money and less time to keep it going. There is some truth. I mean, ask Emily. Emily, do you spend more time today or more time 5 months ago working on your product?
Definitely 5 months ago.
So that's what I mean by passive income. It does become passive more and more over time. And while you're sleeping, you're still getting sales. So there's truth to that. But I want you to know that doesn't make it easy. And that's one of the reasons we're launching 3 new Amazon brands to show you it still can be done today, just like it was 3, 4, 5 years ago. We have people in our community launching every single week and making money. It's happening constantly. Is it easy? No. Is it doable? Yes. People have become millionaires. We turn people into millionaires. That's one of our dreams, and it's already happened multiple times. People who went from 0 to millions, not a year, per month on Amazon as a result of the training. Now, let me go back to what happened. So we have this whiteboard here, and we're looking at a product. This isn't it, but I'm going to use this as an example, okay? And we're writing all the different, we found the main product, okay? Then we look at all the top competitors and we notice what they are selling with it. So some of them are selling a bag with it. Some of them are selling a cable. Some of them are selling an extra battery. Some of them are selling a little case. So on the whiteboard, we drew this, and then we drew a picture of all the other items people are selling. And we're thinking, as you guys probably are thinking, that's a cool bundle. Like, wow, I could sell that bundle. And we were thinking about it, and we said, you know, what else could we do? So we studied the reviews, and after going through the critical reviews, we found something that was causing a problem for customers, and we found a solution. No one else was doing it. So we added that to the whiteboard. So now we have our main product, and we have about 7 accessories around it, and we're thinking we could sell this as a bundle. Now, the first question that comes to my mind is, okay, we can do this, but what is our profit going to be? Are we going to be profitable? Because every time you add something, your margins go down. And then, as we continue to research, we found a listing that was selling very well. Its BSR was just over 5,000 for its product category. And for this product category, that's very good. We're talking tens of thousands a month. It had none of the accessories. All it had was the main product. Now, how in the world were they selling so well? It didn't even, I mean, every single other competitor had at least one of these accessories. And one of them you would think would be so integral, so important to the success of the product that you have to have it. But what they did is they turned the case, the retail packaging, into that accessory. It's like high end. How are they doing this? They branded the product like no one else. And I'm not kidding. The color is black. It's not this product, though. All the other products were white and brown. This one was black. All the other products were using the exact same kind of accessories. It was just a matter of, well, product A is using these 2, product B is using these 2, and product C is using a combination of the other 2. And you can go to Alibaba and see exactly what they're buying, which is not a wise plan, because how are you going to protect yourself against your neighbor from going and buying the same products and selling the same thing? What they did, you guys, is their color was different. Their packaging was different. They actually turned the packaging into one of the accessory items necessary for the good function of the product itself. They had a video on there as well, because they're brand registered. And as you watch and you look at the product, nothing extra, super clean, and it gave you the feel like this is the elite. And so I brought in some staff members from the Just One Dime team. I said, guys, I'm going to show you something. And I threw this product on the wall and this product on the wall. And I said, which one would you buy? Guess which one they said they would buy? The highly branded one. Wait a minute, but this one has all the accessories and the bundling and all these cool things. Yeah, that's nice. This one looked cool. In fact, they had embossed, like risen letters, their logo, their brand in the packaging itself. Very easy to get hijackers off your listing when you have gone that far to protect your brand. Now, there's more they could do and should do, but I hope that encourages you guys. I'm not against bundling. Over half of my products are bundled, but I'm telling you, it is not the only way. You also can bring huge brand value. And if you just think harder and longer about the design, not even necessarily the physical design of the product was exactly the same, but all the packaging and the photos and the colors made the product look like it was 10 times better. But if you took a closer look, you see that it wasn't at all. All right, guys. Hope this is helpful to you. Let's go to 2 more questions. Thank you, Megs. I totally appreciate it. And guys, I hope what I just shared with you helps you guys out. I know how mind-mushing it can be when you're doing product research and you're trying to figure out, am I differentiating it right? Am I not? How do I know? I know that feeling, okay? We're doing it every day. A lot of what we're doing is turning into a case study. Those of you guys going to Ecom 2019 are going to get a big peek at this case study and what it's like. And we have several things in store for you, surprises that you will see very soon. I can't wait to see many of you guys in 3 weeks. And by the way, someone on this live show is going to be speaking there. I wonder who that would be.
Who could that
All
be?
Right. Yeah, I don't know. No, it's super cool. Emily's going to be there, and she's going to be walking you through how she did this with her product. She's going to show you the steps she took. And what I love about it is Emily is not, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, she's not a seasoned seller. I mean, when did you really launch? It was last May?
Yeah.
Last May. Last May, you guys. Over almost $6,000 profit a month last May. Just do the math for a minute. It hasn't even been a freaking year. Her real launch was last May. She joined Just One Dime sometime in the summer, and she began to take all that knowledge and the training and applied it, and it's creating a new life for her. So I asked her, I said, look, would you be willing to speak at Ecom? Show people what you're doing. I want you guys to get the real experience and understand what it's like. And I hope that removes a lot of excuses for people who are saying, yeah, well, Emily, you know, she's special. She got, you know, let's see, she has a graveyard shift and she's married. She's got to kill it. No, that she has it really hard and she's still making it happen. Guys, you can make it happen. I'm telling you. All right, let me check the, oh my goodness. We have so many questions. Guys, I'm so sorry. I don't think I'm going to be able to get to like even a 10th of them today. But regardless, listen, I hope these helped you guys a ton. I really, really do. Okay, Paul says this. Seth, I want to move into private label, but I'm doing online arbitrage, which is taking a lot of my time. Yes, I know. I understand. As it's making my capital, how can I run my business and move into private label? Great question. So, Paul, the first thing you need to do is understand to move into private label, you don't need a huge chunk of money up front. I started with a dime. What you're doing is the right thing. You're generating cash. Take the cash and keep reinvesting it into your arbitrage business. In other words, if you have, let's just say you have $1,000 sitting there and you made 1,000 more, take the 2,000, put it right back into buying more products and keep growing that. At some point, you're going to take a chunk of that money and you're going to set it aside and you're going to say, this is for my inventory. My highest recommendation for all of you is it's good to get a patent. It's good to get a trademark and all that thing, but don't make that your first priority. Your first priority is this. Launch your product and start making money. Okay, when I started, I didn't have a patent, I didn't have a trademark, I didn't have an LLC. There were so many things. What's up? I didn't have this guy Peter. He's over there and he's smiling at me and he's distracting me. The slacker is over there distracting. No, it's awesome. I didn't have any of these things going, but I still moved to cash quickly. Now I'm not saying shortcut it, but you need cash to stay alive. So set aside that money. The lowest I've ever seen is $500. On average, it could be anywhere between $3,500, $6,000-ish for your first order. It depends on your product. But understand, you're going to take that money, you're going to keep putting it back into your company so then you can afford the patent, you can afford the trademark. And guys, listen, at some point, I'm not trying to sell you some pipe dream, okay? You will be making so much money, you won't realize it. You'll go, oh my goodness, there's $100,000 in my account. I'll never forget the first time Kimberly and I were like, oh my goodness, there's $100,000 right there. It's like it crept up on us. Just boom, it's there. So don't allow that to discourage you guys. It will happen. Focus on the business, and the business will focus on taking care of you. Emily, what do you want to add to that? What would you say to these people here?
Just back to what you were saying a second ago. So launching in May, and speaking at Ecom in March, thinking through all the things that I didn't know then. And I went to business school, so I know a lot of principles and a lot of things that you're supposed to do or supposed to think about. But selling online is a completely different game than just inventing a product or bringing something to market. It's a completely different concept. And I was just thinking yesterday, I cannot even write down all the things I've learned in a matter of like 5, 6, 7 months. It's unbelievable. So start today, guys, or just keep pushing hard if you're already on this journey, because you'll kind of, same as the money, you're going to look back and think, oh my gosh, what I didn't know, last month that I know now. And it's a game changer.
Absolutely. You're 100% correct. Guys, let me just take one more question. Thanks for your help. I'm going to show you the easiest way. You search the main keyword. Let's just say it's black Bluetooth headphones, and you look at all the ones that show up on the first page. That's the simplest, easiest way. How do I know they're ranking? Because they're showing up. That's what ranking is. The lower that BSR is, the more they're going to rank. Now, ranking for keywords is a little different than BSR. It's not the same thing, but it's similar. So then you want to come out with a keyword that encapsulates the product without a bunch of extra stuff. Okay? So you would just say black Bluetooth headphones, or you could say Bluetooth headphones, or you could say ear covering headphones, well, however you want to say it. But that's what you start with. Now, if you want to really find that more specifically, because BSR goes like this and ranking changes every day, who continues to stay at the top? My favorite application for that is Amazow. I also like Scope because it tells me all the top keywords ranking for that listing. Emily, what would your advice be?
Yeah, I always use Amazon.com as the starting place for everything, and I use research tools to confirm what I've already seen or to look at more specific things. But I think a lot of times we get in this mindset of jumping in with research tools, and then it's kind of like, wait, we need to start at Amazon.com, see what people are actually doing in the marketplace. So yeah, I totally agree.
And guys, when you start with Amazon, you're going to the platform you'll be selling on. You're seeing it from the perspective of your customer. And that's really important. You don't want to get enamored by a fancy tool. I've seen people do this, and then they're depending so much on the tool, they don't understand why the numbers matter. They're just trusting the tool blindly. I've never seen a single tool out there 100% correct. I would never trust something that I don't understand what's causing it to work. I have to know why. And what that will do is make you a master at using different tools for different things. You combine them, and then you come up with an amazing, stellar way of understanding what's ranking and what's not. Some of you guys saw this on my Instagram Live. I just said, look, let's just go live. And I just sat there and I did research, talking to you, what I'm learning, what I'm doing. And you saw it's not as clean cut as it might look. It's a lot of different piecing together, but it's more accurate that way. All right, guys. Everyone, I want to encourage you, if you're not signed up for Ecom 2019, you need to sign up, justonedime.com/ecom 2019. I will be there. Actually, check this out, guys. So my wife and I are going to be at Ecom talking about this. And I know this is relevant to so many people. How to stay in love while building a business. It is not easy. We're going to be super transparent about our struggles along the way, what we struggled with. We're going to talk about everything. We're going to talk about sex. I don't care if it makes you uncomfortable. We're going to be super open. I'm going to be teaching how to crush it in life and how to crush it on Amazon. Amazon will be there, my friends. They will be there. Just so you guys know, Amazon does not show up at people's events. This hasn't happened, in my knowledge, for the last 10 years. They have not shown up at anyone's except their own. They're coming to Just One Dime. So if you want this once in a lifetime, once in a decade, kind of like going out to see the amazing eclipse, you only get every few years it's going to happen. If you want that chance, you guys, you need to go to Ecom. You can ask them questions. 4 of their leaders will be there. And I'm not talking about just Amazon workers. I'm talking about leaders of FBA registry, transparency, those kind of programs. They're going to be teaching and doing a live Q&A, which I'm super excited about. Emily's going to be teaching. Joe Giacone is going to be there. Instagram experts, Pinterest, Shopify, marketing. I don't even know where to begin. There's a ton. And there's going to be a lot of parties and networking and fun. We have tons of special prizes. So justonedime.com/ecom. Now, if you say, Seth, I just want to be trained step by step for the next year. Simple. Click the link below. Join us. We will do everything we can to help you absolutely crush it on Amazon and other platforms. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, you guys have an awesome day.